Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the best television show not on television. This is the Parlay, Awthentik and The Beard. We have made it. We have made it to the Fantasy Football Championship weekend. I'm not in the championship. Awthentik's not in the championship, but we know a lot of you guys are in the championship, and we are here to help you celebrate and hopefully help you win. We're also going to pick each and every single game on the slate this week. We're going to pick the overs, the unders, and the spreads. Without further ado, the man, the myth, the legend, as seen on TV, as seen on Bleacher Report, as seen on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook. None other, Mr. Awthentik. Welcome to the party, sir.
We got to revamp that, the man, the myth, the legend. I'm not a big fan of that one. There's a homie that has me blocked on Twitter now, actually, that goes by the man, the myth, the legend. And every time you say that, it just reminds me of his bum ass.
We'll say the real man, the myth, and the legend, Mr. Awthentik.
The realistic nugget deliverer.
Mr. Uber Eats of football nuggets. There we go.
I like that, dog. My McDonald's diet has been absolutely ridiculous. That app has been getting ran up, man. I'm still trying to get my house in order, man. Still trying to get the kitchen right. It's been a major fast food life this month, I will say.
And listen, I know it's a completely different ballgame when you're out there now, because it's not like where we were before. Because
it's better. It's better. I got way more options for food around here than we did around the crib, man. Like I'm like pinned between two like shopping centers full of food. But I don't know why I see them golden arches and I'll be like, yeah, why not?
I listen. I can speak for myself. I see that the golden arches and I see that 2 for $3. It always hits
they
the
don't
spot.
call me the Nugget Master for nothing.
But yeah, it's gonna be we had an interesting game last night to kick us off in Week 17. I believe we both picked the Dallas Cowboys in that game, so we're looking pretty good. I think we both picked the Cleveland Browns, so we're 2-0 to start Week 17 here. Hopefully we can continue to keep that moving forward. Big shout out to everybody who is in the chat across all the platforms. That is Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, and of course, right here on YouTube. We appreciate all the love and the support. Make sure you guys are dropping those questions in the chat. We will be answering them periodically as we move about this show. But we're going to go ahead and get things started. I almost texted Awthentik in the graphic department and the sound department, editing department, all the departments here at Awthentik and The Beard. I almost said, you know what? I think we just get rid of the sit section this week. But then I said, you know what?
I thought about that.
You thought about that too?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, great minds think alike, obviously.
Yes.
But then I was like, there's some people we could probably throw in here. And we've made it this far by throwing out names to sits that end up having career weeks that week. So might as well keep the tradition alive here at Awthentik and The Beard. Let's go ahead and talk about the sit-ems for Week 17. All right, Mr. Awthentik, I'm going to go ahead and let you lead this section off while I begin to highlight some of these amazing questions that are already coming through in the chat. Shout out to everybody. We got 41 people watching bright and early. People are ready for some football.
Win some championships, man. I definitely feel them on that. I wish I was right there with y'all in the driver's seat, but I am not. So as far as the sit-em section this week, I got Jonathan Taylor versus the Raiders. He had 59% of the snaps last week coming back off an injury, just 43 yards on 18 attempts. This one's a little bit dicey, but I'm sitting James Conner versus the Philadelphia Eagles today. That run defense is improved. James Conner, very touchdown dependent in the pass game as well. Only 45 yards last week on 12 attempts, but he did crack 20 fantasy points in PPR. So I'm looking for James Conner to kind of come back down to earth here one time. And the Beard's not going to like this one. I'm flying through these. Last but not least, my man Jahan Dotson, who was supposed to have it was 1,198 yards, I believe it was, is what he was supposed to have this year. He's sitting somewhere around just under 600 right now, has not scored a touchdown in 4 straight games. He's breached 4 receptions just 4 times all year. So I'm sitting Jahan Dotson, and I'm sure the Beard got a lot of Commanders he's sitting on the bench this week against them 49ers.
I just have Commanders. So, like, it's interesting because when you do DraftKings lineups, right, like the general consensus, right, of building a lineup on DraftKings is if you're going to do a stack, right? So, for instance, I have, like, Purdy McCaffrey, Debo, and Ayuk all in the same lineup. And generally what you want to do is you want to bring it back with another player that's in that same game on the opposite team. I couldn't find the cojones to implement a Washington Commander in there. I thought about Brian Robinson, but then I'm like, coming back from the injury, it's just so I'm just gonna stay away from Commanders offensively in this game. Definitely not playing the Commanders defense either. I don't think that would be a very good idea.
There's not many teams that you would do that with. That you would just complete. I know I'm speaking from a New York Giants perspective, right? But at least we got a little bit of Saquon, a little bit of Darren Waller. You could maybe sprinkle in some Wan'Dale Robinson. It's not many teams like that. I think the Patriots are kind of one of those squads, but even them, they kind of got a few players out there. I'm thinking, maybe Zeke Elliott this week. But
Demario
that's
Douglas
tough,
maybe, but
Demario Douglas.
There are very few teams like that because there's usually like one guy you think about. Carolina Panthers, Adam Thielen, right? He's been eating for most of the year.
They're close.
Yeah, they're close too. So close. There are some teams out there, but Commanders this week are definitely one of those teams. I think my next guys, it's going to be the Jacksonville wide receivers, and this one's a little sketchy because it's difficult to stay away from some of these guys, especially like Calvin Ridley with Christian Kirk out. Zay Jones has just been banged up all year long. You guys know I'm kind of high on the prospects of Parker Washington, but he still hasn't necessarily had that equal or better performance that he did in that initial breakthrough game when Christian Kirk got injured initially. So staying away from Jacksonville wide receivers. And then this one's probably the toughest one for me is going to be Gus Edwards, okay? And Gus came through last week, played pretty well, and obviously it's the Gus Bus show with a little bit of justice. That's where we're at right now with the Baltimore Ravens and their run game. But for me, Miami's defense, number 2 rush defense in the National Football League, since week 12. Opposing running backs are averaging only 2.7 yards per carry against the Miami Dolphins. So it's a little tough for me to play the Gus Bus with confidence. So that's going to be the people that I'm staying away from in Week 17. Let's go ahead and get to some of these questions because they are flying in bright and early here today. We're going to start off with the person who is going to win the award for the number 1 participant in the parlay for 2023, Mr. Juan Pena Jr. Congratulations on the award. First person to ask a question and a comment on almost every single Sunday morning stream. Big shout out to Juan Pena. First question is, Carr, Murray, Browning, Tyrod Taylor, Minshew, or Stidham?
That's tough. That's tough.
They're all right there. They're bunched up.
Yeah, I'm leaning Kyler Murray, but the matchup is going to be tough. But Philadelphia Eagles pass defense not all that great. I think I'm leaning Kyler Murray. Mike Swan hit me up about a Kyler Murray thing yesterday when we were running some Xbox too, and he's running with him as well in his championship. I think it's either Murray or Gardner Minshew.
I'm right there with you. I will tell you this. I do like Tyrod Taylor and Stidham when it comes to DraftKings because they're super cheap. But if we're talking season long, Kyler Murray, I think I have to – that Philadelphia Eagles defense has just not been performing well. They're probably going to be down. It's going to force Kyler to throw the ball. I really like Minshew, though, against his matchup.
He's going up against the Raiders.
But the Raiders, just because I love Minshew, obviously. The Raiders defense has been playing pretty good ball, though, lately. They are
I'm going Kyler. You kind of convincing me. Straight Kyler.
We're going to go Kyler. We're going to double down on Kyler for you, Juan. Up next, Juan Pena Jr. Okay, this is going to be one of those ones we got to pay attention to the beginning. So we're going to get a wide receiver 1, a wide receiver 2, and a running back 2, and a flex spot. So we're picking 4 guys here, okay? 2 wide receivers and 1 running back, and then we get a flex.
Yeah.
Okay, so our options are Zamir White, Connor, Herbert, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Jeff Wilson Jr., Justin Jefferson, Rice, Brown, Lockett, Robinson, Myers, Gibson, or Dillon.
Dang, that's a lot. That's a lot of players.
So I think we start with running back will probably be easiest, right?
I like Zamir White right off the bat.
Yeah, I'm going to double down with
you. Two big games. I had James Conner in my sit-em section, but he's going to get some volume. That's the thing there. So you got him or Khalil Herbert, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. How did Clyde Edwards-Helaire do last week?
He did okay, but Pacheco has cleared concussion protocol.
Yeah, so that rules him out for me then. Jeff Wilson Jr., nah. Okay, so I'm going wide receiver 1 and 2. You got to go Justin Jefferson as a wide receiver for sure. I'm going Zamir White as the running back 2 right now. Running back.
So now you need another wide receiver and a flex.
Yeah. Dang, that's tough. I think I'm gonna go Rashee Rice or Lockett. I think I'm leaning towards Rice. Damn, the Kansas City offense has just been struggling though. Who was Seattle's matchup today? The Seahawks are playing up against the Steelers. Okay, yeah, I don't like that. So I'm gonna go Rashee Rice, Justin Jefferson, Zamir White, and I don't like Gibson with Robinson back in the lineup. Jacoby Myers has been pretty decent. I'm going Khalil Herbert.
Okay, I'm exactly the same except for my flex spot. I'm in a toss up between Jeff Wilson Jr. because no Raheem Mostert, or Demarcus Robinson.
Yeah.
So
DeMarcus, he's got touchdowns in his last 3 games since they've been implementing him in the lineup too.
So that's kind of where I would go. So I think we're pretty much all in agreement. The flex is going to be a coin flip between Robinson, Jeff Wilson, and then Awthentik said that he likes Khalil Herbert for that flex spot. Up next, we're going to talk defense. Juan Pena Jr., Jags, Rams, Colts, or Raiders. I will tell you this. The Raiders have the number 1 fantasy defense since Antonio Pierce has taken over. So I don't know, the matchup is against the Colts. So that's going to be something that, you're going to have to consider. Jags are going up against the Carolina Panthers, which we know is one of the worst offenses in the league. Rams going against the Giants. I like the Giants' offense prospects better with Tyrod Taylor than Tommy DeVito. And then the Colts are facing the Raiders. The Raiders have been a wild card. So for me, it's between the Raiders and the Jags.
The Rams are one of the hottest teams in football right now. I would maybe go with the Rams. I mean, that game could get ugly extremely fast. I like the Raiders as a secondary option, but I think the Rams are going to come out here and score a lot of points early and force the Giants to be predictable in the second half.
Okay. Up next, Shelton Dayton says, good morning, fellas. Stafford or Stroud?
I'm going Stafford. I have Stroud on my fantasy team as well, but coming back off an injury, I think I'm just going Stafford. Stafford has been playing great football lately, man. He's playing MVP-like football for real, man, and that offense is moving.
As much as I love Stroud, I'm going to agree with Awthentik on this one. I think I'm going to pick Stafford over Stroud. Big shout out to James Funk checking in from Facebook. Says, morning, fellas. Aaron Jones or James Conner? Rice or Nico? McBride or Goddard? I'm going to go Aaron Jones, Nico Collins, and Trey McBride.
I like it. I think I go Rashee Rice over Nico Collins this week.
Not mad at that decision because I do like Rice's matchup as well. Up next, we got Hasbick, Baker Mayfield or Kyler Murray.
Now that makes it really interesting. Baker Mayfield been playing really good football, 26 touchdowns, 8 interceptions on the year. He's got the weapons to be able to put up a bigger game. Kyler Murray gives you the running capability. That's a tough one. That is a tough one. The Bucs are going up against the Saints. Damn, that's a tough one. I'm going to go Baker Mayfield.
I'm going to go Baker Mayfield also. I think you got to play the hot hand. The guy's just been on fire. That's a huge game. It's not like, there's nothing on the line. Like they're playing for like the division basically. So big shout out to Baker Mayfield. We're going to go with Baker Mayfield. Stroud, Stafford, we answered. There seems to be a couple of people that are in that sort of situation. Yep. We got a big question here from King Uzumaki. How are you, gents? Derrick Henry, Achane, Zamir White, non-PPR, but you do have a 40-yard touchdown and 100-yard game bonuses. I'm going to go Achane in that situation. I know it's a tough matchup against the Baltimore Ravens, but no Jalen Waddle, no Raheem Mostert. They are going to rely heavily on their 2 playmakers in Tyreek Hill and Achane. I think Achane has the biggest big play capability, which would give you that 40-yard touchdown and the 100-yard bonus out of Zamir White and Derrick Henry. But if That's the main reason why I'm leaning that way is because of those 2 bonuses. And I think that's why you threw that in the question, because that's probably what's making you double think Achane over Derrick Henry or even a guy like Zamir White, who's probably going to have a big game as well.
Yeah, you just never know with Derrick Henry. I mean, he threw a touchdown just a week ago, so you just never really know if he's going to get the goal line touches. Tennessee has not been the same team this year. As interesting as this is, I think I'm going to go Zamir White. I like the matchup. Achane's going to be in a big game where I think the passing attack is going to be more important in that game. But Miami Dolphins can absolutely run the ball. But I'm going to go Zamir White. It's kind of a reach, so take that with a grain of salt. I just like the game that I saw from Zamir White the past 2 weeks. And then last week, I want to say put up 148 yards on the ground. So I just got to go Zamir White. You got to go with the hot hand, like the Beard said.
Big shout out to Hasbick with another question. Says, should I start Zeke over Connor?
Ooh, I thought about this. I'm going to go ahead and say yes. I like what Zeke Elliott has been doing in the passing game. I actually have him in my sleeper section. He's got a receiving touchdown in 2 of his last 3 games. He had 11 targets last week. They're struggling with Bailey Zappi. So what else you going to do but check down?
I'm going to agree Zeke over Connor. Up next, big shout out to Sebastian. Zeke, Aaron Jones, Gus Edwards, or Devin Singletary for his last running back spot.
I like Singletary or Gus Edwards. Gus Edwards, very touchdown dependent. You got the injury to Keaton Mitchell. So that just means more carries for Gus. You're going to be sharing those with Justice Hill, like the Beard talked about. But Devin Singletary's been playing some really good ball, man. I mean, Titans going up against the Titans rush defense. I think that Devin Singletary is safer.
I'm going to go Aaron Jones. I like the matchup against the Minnesota Vikings. I think they're going to lean heavy on him. He's also been catching the ball well out the backfield this year. I know A.J. Dillon's been kind of banged up a little bit, so they might, lean more to that 75-25 percentage of carries there. So I'm going to go Aaron Jones in that situation. But I'm not mad at Devin Singletary. I do like, if I were to give you a secondary person to kind of lean and in a direction, I would go Devin Singletary would be my outside of my Aaron Jones pick. Somebody who's never on the bench and is always in everybody's starting lineup every single week. Tuto!
Oh, my God. On a parlay. What's up, Tuto?
With a $4.99 super chat. Says, massive salutes and respects, Awthentik and The Beard, numero uno. From strong side to left side, roadmaps master, gold nugget library, and please slap all Boyd's losers. Spike says, don't care. Fist pump.
Spike don't care.
Italy. Big shout out, Tudo. We appreciate the love and the support. Before we get into the next round of questions, we are going to go ahead and jump into this week's sleepers for Fantasy Football Championship Weekend. All right, I'm just going to jump right into this because we've already talked about this guy a few times throughout the beginning of this show, and that's going to be Zamir White, okay? Zamir White, I think talked about the last couple of games, 17.5 fantasy points in back-to-back weeks, okay? He's going to have a good matchup this week against that Colts run defense, which is not necessarily top of the line, as we would say. So I really, really like Zamir White. I mean, the Indianapolis Colts are tied for second most rushing touchdowns allowed on 21 rushing touchdowns allowed this season. They also allow the fifth most rushing yards per game at 130.7 yards per game. So I love Zamir White this week. Definitely going to be in my sleeper section. A guy who Awthentik and I have talked about time and time again. We just talk about him because he jumps off of the screen. He makes big plays. He's going to be playing up against a defense that has been giving up big plays. Rashid Shaheed for the New Orleans Saints. I love Rashid Shaheed this week. Listen, 13 targets in his last 2 weeks. Tampa Bay has allowed the 10th most receiving touchdowns in the league with 21. They also allow the most passing yards per game in the National Football League at 264.1 yards per game. So I really like Rashid Shaheed. And this last one is kind of a Hail Mary. Okay.
It's a couple of those this week.
Jared Stidham. Okay. Jared Stidham, and it's unfortunate, but I kind of like Jared Stidham. I've seen some flashes of him. I know Awthentik is shaking his head. He's going up against this Los Angeles Chargers defense, okay? Chargers are tied for fourth most touchdowns allowed in the passing game with 24. They also are 13th in yards per game allowed with 233.8. Los Angeles Chargers are also ranked 28th in fantasy points versus quarterbacks this year. So I think Jared Stidham comes out and has a surprise game. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say Jared Stidham throws 3 touchdowns today.
It hasn't gone that well for you this year when you've done those things. I don't like how they did Russell Wilson
I don't either.
there. That's very shady BS type of behavior over there, man. Asking that guy to take out the injury clause and all that stuff. But this week I got Kyle Pitts going up against the Bears. And there's some snow coming down in that game, actually, is what I just saw on my Bleacher Report app, which kind of changes things. But Kyle Pitts it's weird, just 3 receptions, but a touchdown in 2 of his last 3 games. So he's definitely getting in the end zone since the move to Taylor Heineke at quarterback, which is really interesting. Talked about Zeke Elliott going up against the Bills. I think he's a pretty good sleeper this week, had the 11 targets last week. He has at least 5 targets in his last 4 games as well. And I like JSN, although the Pittsburgh Steelers defense does give quarterbacks a little bit of trouble. JSN has 21 receptions in his last 4 games. I think the Steelers are going to make it a point to stop DK in that game, and that'll open up some things for JSN.
Not mad at that. Not mad at that at all. Listen, we got another sleeper, okay? Coming in late, but definitely a sleeper here. Bobby! With the $2 super chat says, "Hi, Awthentik and The Beard, my friends."
What's good?
Good to see you, Bobby. Good to see you, Bobby.
Bobby in the building. What's
Bobby,
going on, bro?
appreciate you stopping by, buddy. Big shout out to Sebastian, okay? Says, "I am also starting Mike Evans at wide receiver." That's a good thing. "I have DJ Moore in my flex spot." Not mad at that. T. Higgins, Aaron Jones, Devin Singletary, Gus, and B-Rob is on the bench. Who should start?
Okay, so DJ Moore in the flex, Mike Evans at wide receiver 1. And he just needs what? Another wide receiver?
I don't know if he needs somebody or if he's saying that should any of those guys start over Mike Evans and DJ Moore.
Starting because it's tagged on to his last question. So he's also starting Mike Evans at wide receiver, DJ Moore in the flex spot, T. Higgins, Aaron Jones, Devin Singletary, Gus, and B-Rob is on the bench. Who should start? Okay, so maybe like one of those players he's saying out of those, which one should start? But with DJ Moore in the flex, let's just pick one. I guess that's what he's saying is pick one. I would go, T. Higgins was playing man football last week, man.
Yeah.
Dude, that dude, man, I was sleeping on him. I'm not going to lie. Devin Singletary with the running back option there, I mean, he's going to get a ton of volume, which makes that a little difficult. Definitely not B-Rob for me. Aaron Jones coming off that big game last week, 120-something or something like that. I think I go T. Higgins.
I'll double down with you if you go T. Higgins.
That Chiefs defense, though, is good, man.
It is, but Jamar Chase said they got holes.
I'm rolling with you, man. I'm going Aaron Jones off. I'm rolling with your last answer. I'm going Aaron Jones.
All right. Well, I will give you Aaron Jones then. If you haven't put him in your other running back spot, then this is a good opportunity for you to get to Aaron Jones.
Oh, when you said that the 300 yards or 3 touchdowns for Jared Stidham, it just reminded me of the Joe Flacco performance. And I think we would, got to do ourselves a favor and give Joe Flacco his props because the Jets, you remember the nugget I dropped, 33 straight games they hadn't had a 300-yard passer go up against them. And Joe Flacco broke the streak. He put up 309 and 3 touchdowns, man. What a performance, man. Joe Flacco right now, 13 touchdowns, leads the NFL since entering the week, since week 13.
I took Joe Flacco over on touchdowns and passing yards in that game on a parlay. But it also hit with Elijah Moore on the touchdown, and I was like, it's looking pretty. Yeah. And then I had over 50-plus yards for Njoku, but the one thing that didn't hit was Njoku touchdown. Everybody was catching touchdowns.
And he fumbled on that big play, too. Yeah. I remember he fumbled on that big play. Yeah, that was a tough one. But Joe Flacco, great performance. Remember you called 253 and 2 touchdowns. He won up to you on all that. I was like, dang.
Definitely did. Big shout out to Joe Flacco, though, and those Cleveland Browns. Also, big shout out to James Jones in the chat. Says Stephon Diggs, Brandon Ayuk, Puka, DJ Moore, Jaden Reed, T. Higgins, Rashid Rice. Oh, Rashid. I'm assuming he just means
Rashid Rice. Yeah, Rashid Rice.
Mm-hmm. I almost said Shaheed after it because I'm so used to seeing it. Pick 3. Got to go Diggs, right? Got to go Diggs. Yep. I think it's Diggs, Ayuk, Puka. I think there's no need to overthink that, right?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. If you want to try to consider DJ Moore, I think that, with Justin Fields' job on the line, I think he's going to be playing with a little bit of extra urgency today. But there's snow coming down now, over in Chicago. So I would kind of avoid that one. I would go Puka, Ayuk, and Diggs.
Mm-hmm. Big shout out to Mike the Realist. This is what we love to see. We don't love to see it because it makes us look good. We love to see it because you're feeling good about things and the way that they're going. Mike the Realist says, "Morning, fellas. Just wanted to thank you all for all the help this year in fantasy, and I wouldn't be in a championship without you both." Big shout out to Mike the Realist. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. So big shout out to Mike the Realist. You are the champion here at Awthentik and The Beard for
best
for
of luck, man. Hope you get that dub, bro.
Yeah,
Hope you
go get that
Bring
dub.
that trophy home.
Well, I want to see Tuesday when we do our recap show. I want to see anybody who wins those championships come over Tuesday night. Let everybody know that you're a champion, and I'll do a little singing for you. I almost said we, but Awthentik probably won't sing.
I'm not. I hope you don't do any singing either.
Big shout out to Blake 4491 says Jonathan Taylor or Achan.
I'm going Achan.
I'm going Achan as well. Big shout out to Jay Jones. Jay Jones on Twitter.
Tough.
Make sure you drop in the chat where everybody can find you. He's got a podcast. Make sure you guys go ahead and check out my guy Jay Jones out. He says Baker Mayfield or Justin Fields. Can't go wrong. I'm gonna tell you to go with the field.
You can't go wrong here, I guess. I mean, Justin Fields gives you the running capability to get in the end zone with his legs. I think Baker has more of an opportunity to get some touchdowns through the air. Yeah, a lot on the line for Baker Mayfield and the Bucs today. Am I gonna say this? I'm rooting for Justin Fields, man. That's my guy.
He's playing for his future.
Snow. I'm going Baker Mayfield.
We're gonna go with Baker. We're gonna double down on Baker today. It looks like I'm gonna be building a Baker Mayfield lineup when this show ends. Big shout out to Bibiz. Checking in on Twitter. Beebs, maybe?
Checking
Beebs,
in on
Beebs. Checking in on Twitter. Says Chuba Hubbard, Achan, or Zamir White.
It's tough.
Zamir White or Achan.
I'd rule out Chuba Hubbard. So Achan or Zamir White. Give me Zamir White, man. I got to stay consistent.
I mean, we've had a lot of Achan consistency here too.
Yeah, not against Zamir White though. Zamir White, big game last week. What else are they gonna do? The Raiders just run the damn ball. That's their thing. I'm going Zamir White. I like Achan, but like I said, remember I said earlier, that's gonna be a passing game.
All right, I'm gonna go Zamir White, but I think you can't go wrong if you decide to go against us and go Achan.
You can't.
Achan or Zamir White would be where I would be at. At least we can eliminate Chuba for you.
You got a 50% chance that you're going to look back at your bench and be like, damn it, I started the wrong
one. Big shout out to everybody in the chat. So we're going to go ahead and move into the positions. Let's go ahead and talk about the top quarterback plays in this championship weekend for fantasy football. All right, Awthentik. Who are your top rock slingers for Week 17?
All right, I'm going to start bottom up here. I'm going Brock Purdy versus your Washington Commanders one time. Before playing the Ravens and taking that L when he threw all those interceptions, he had multiple passing touchdowns in 5 of his last 6 games, a passer rating of 122 or higher in all 5 of those 6. And Washington's defense is just bad, just terrible, just awful, just the worst it could possibly be, actually. The next 2 quarterbacks are actually going to face off in the same game. I'm going Tua, going up against the Baltimore Ravens. The last time Tua played the Ravens, he threw for a career-high 469 yards and 6 whole damn touchdowns. I don't know if you remember that game. Early last year, they got that early lead on them, the Ravens did, and Tua ended up putting 4 touchdowns up in the 4th quarter in that one. Dolphins are chasing a 12-win season for the first time since 1990, so I know Tua is going to be out here playing with some extra emphasis as well. And I'm absolutely going Lamar Jackson, who I think has entered the MVP conversation. Lamar Jackson right now, the Ravens can clinch the AFC's top seed if they beat Miami today. He's got 9 touchdowns in his last 5 starts, 0 of them on the ground. So the narrative that Lamar Jackson can't throw the ball, well, we're seeing that in this Todd Monken spread offense this year. He has over 250 yards passing in 3 of his last 5 games. I'd look for Lamar Jackson to get in the end zone with his legs and a couple through the air this week.
Totally agree with you on the Lamar for MVP campaign. I'm going to go Jalen Hurts. I think this is a big opportunity for Jalen Hurts. We talked about this a little bit on Thursday's show. If you guys haven't had a chance to catch that, you guys can go back and watch that in 2 times speed before the game start after the parlay. Arizona allows the second highest touchdown percentage through the air in the NFL. 5.9% of opponents' dropbacks end in a touchdown for when you're playing the Arizona Cardinals. So I like Jalen Hurts' opportunity there. They also allow the highest rushing yards per game at 147. So we know Jalen Hurts can get you some points on the ground maybe this week as well. And Jalen Hurts
out there too, though. That defense is ranked 12th pass defense wise. The Arizona Cardinals. I know they're allowing a lot of touchdowns, but got to keep it balanced. That would be crazy if their rush defense and their pass defense was that bad.
And believe it or not, Jalen Hurts does have over 23 fantasy points in 4 of his last 5 games. So I like Jalen Hurts in this position. I also like Patrick Mahomes. I took a couple of bounce back guys that I expect to have bounce back games. I like Patrick Mahomes. Cincinnati Bengals allow the 5th most passing yards per game at 256.1 yards. So I do like the bounce back opportunity for Patrick Mahomes in this game. And then obviously I'm going with Brock Purdy. And I don't need to really tell anybody why or stats or anything like that. I just put Washington defense on my notes. So I expect Brock Purdy to probably have 4 touchdowns and 300-plus yards today. That would be my prediction for Brock Purdy. We do have a couple of other questions to get to really quick before we get to the other positions. Big shout out to Stefan or Steven. Hello. Week 2 of championship. PPR, he's down a bit and needs to make up some points. He has to sit 1. Devontae Adams, Cooper Kupp, Aaron Jones, or DK Metcalf.
For me, it would be between. That's so tough. That's so tough.
I'm gonna take a guess and see if this is where you were going. Between Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones.
I was thinking that, but I was also thinking DK Metcalf against the Steelers as well. That Steelers defense is solid.
I think we just sit Aaron Jones.
Just sit Aaron Jones?
I think we just sit Aaron Jones.
He's coming off a big game, man. Consistency, man. Consistency. 120-something last week. Oh, but DK is just on man time. Wow. I'm leaning towards sitting Devontae Adams.
Because see, the thing about Devontae Adams, right? Devontae Adams could go out there and he could give you a 2-point game. But Devontae Adams could also go out there and give you a 25, 30-point game.
Yeah.
Right?
He's coming off 1 reception for 4 yards last week. He's got 2 100-yard games all year. The quarterback play over there is just not good enough. I'm sitting Devontae.
All right, I'm not mad at it.
That sounds crazy, but I'm sitting Devontae.
Listen, when you break it down like that, that's why I said he can give you a 2-point game because that last week they didn't complete a pass in the second half.
I mean, that's just absolutely pathetic. Devontae has what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. In his last 12 games, he's only scored in 2 of them. He's got 5 touchdowns on the year. I would just live and die on that, right?
Yeah.
Like, if he has a great game, so be it. You made the right decision on picking the other players that were hotter, and it just so happens he had a big game. I'm sitting Devontae Adams, absolutely.
I'm going to agree with you as well. And then also coming back with another question, Stafford, Stroud, or Mayfield?
We said Stafford over Stroud earlier, so
basically Stafford or Mayfield.
Yeah.
Stafford.
Yeah, I'm going Stafford. Going Stafford.
Big shout out to the Black Swordsman. Says, hey, I'm in the championship. Shout out to you. He's starting Debo and Nico, but I have Ayuk. Do I start him over either one of them? And then he wanted to tag on and say that CeeDee Lamb is his wide receiver 1.
I mean, you just went ballistic then.
Yeah.
CeeDee Lamb went crazy last night. Let's see, Nico. So it's start Brandon Ayuk over Nico, but then also have 2 wide receivers in the same game, same team. That makes it tough. That really makes it tough. Would you play the law of averages here and go both San Francisco 49ers wide receivers, knowing that one of them's probably going to eat going against Washington?
It's tough not to. Listen, I'm going to just tell you right now, because this is going to be the next segment. I have all three of these guys in my top wide receiver position. So I don't know what to tell you. I mean,
I'd sit Nico.
You'd sit Nico and just double down on San Francisco's offense.
Yeah, because you don't want to have it where you have one of the 49ers players on your bench. They're bound to have a big game.
You start one and then the other one goes off.
Yeah, and I mean, Nico Collins, the last two games aren't that great. He's got under 20 yards in both his last two games. He had the back-to-back 100-yard games before that. One of them was 191 versus the Broncos. Outside of that, he's got, two other 100-yard performances. See, the thing about Nico is when he does, go crazy, he goes crazy.
Yeah.
Is this one of those matchups, going up against the Titans today? Where does that Titans pass defense rank this year? Are they pretty decent?
They're middle of the road, I believe. But I will tell you that they're 27th against wide receivers in fantasy.
Yeah, and they are middle. They're allowing 225 a game, ranked 18th in the NFL. I mean, that's a game where Nico could go off. Let me check his game log, because wouldn't they have played them already?
They did. And I don't think he did too great. It was on the road, though.
He didn't play in it. He didn't play in that game.
Yeah, and I think those last two games too, he was banged up. He got knocked out the last two games.
Then you got Stroud coming back from the injury. Is it really going to be a big day for Nico?
It's risky. It's risky to play Nico. I think. Listen, I said it a couple weeks back. If you're playing against the Washington Commanders, we played the Jets last week, but before that, what did Cooper Kupp and Puka? They both went over.
They went crazy.
They both went crazy, right?
And Debo gives you the opportunity to get some runs too. I like you said, I think it's the safer bet, right, to go with the San Francisco 49ers players. And this is the question where he said that CeeDee Lamb was his number one, right?
Yeah.
So he's already overachieved. I think you could just play it safe more than banking on a Nico Collins and picking the correct San Francisco 49ers wide receiver. Just go with both of them. One of them bound to have a big game. Both of them might have a big game.
Exactly. I totally agree with you. Big shout out to King Heartless checking in on Twitter. Says, I got some questions. Who should I start at tight end today, Pitts or Gerald Everett?
I like Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts been getting in the end zone.
I think this is tough because Pitts is going to be very touchdown dependent. But I do, and you said snow in Chicago right now?
Yeah, that does hurt.
I think I'm going to go Gerald Everett. I know that doesn't really help you much, but I like the matchup. I got Gerald. I'm kind of going heavy Gerald Everett. Gerald Everett.
Everett.
On DraftKings right now because he's so cheap, and a backup quarterback loves his tight end. But I think you're in a coin flip situation here.
He's just looking at the game log here, has not had a game over 50 yards in 4 straight games, no touchdowns.
Gerald Everett?
Yeah, he's got 3 on the year.
So that right there is gonna be the push over to Kyle Pitts, I think.
Yeah, Kyle hasn't been getting many targets, but he's been getting in the end zone.
Yeah. Heineke seems to like him too. And big shout out to King Heartless. He's gonna double back with another question, another tough one. Isaac Pacheco or Zamir White?
I'm going Zamir White.
We are all in on Zamir White this week.
Last time I did this with what's my dude from the Colts, man, Zach Moss. It did not go well. It was 3 straight weeks of this is Zach Moss week.
We appreciate you checking in, King Heartless from Twitter. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and talk about the top running back plays, Week 17, Fantasy Football, National Football League. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be able to kind of fly through this section, at least early on here. We're going to go CMC.
Yep.
Washington defense. That's it. That's all you need to know. I expect Christian McCaffrey to probably have close to 200 yards, total scrimmage yards, probably a couple of touchdowns,
Let's make this faster. Let me double down here and give you some CMC because I got some CMC as well. 21 total touchdowns, 14 on the ground. The man has caught 63 of his 78 targets on the season. Leads the NFL in rushing right now, man. 1,395 yards. I got CMC as well. Continue.
Up next, we're going to go ahead and go Kyron Williams, okay? He's averaging 25.5 fantasy points over his last 5 games. He's going up against the New York Football Giants, who allow the 4th most rushing yards in the National Football League at 134.2.
Chill.
And also, they've allowed the 2nd most rushing touchdowns in the NFL this year with 21.
Chill, bro. Chill.
You want to double down on that?
Kyron Williams, he's number 2 in the NFL in rushing, but he's not in my top 3. But he is number 2 in rushing right now, and he's 50 carries behind CMC.
Whew, man, I love me some Notre Dame football running backs. Up next, we're going to go DeAndre Swift. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, they are listening to Awthentik and The Beard. Nick Sirianni, he's got one of these, and he's got Awthentik and The Beard. Authentic coming in the right ear, The Beard coming in the left ear, okay?
Little pause there, a little bit. That's kind of crazy.
He went back to, what was that? What was my guy's name? Supernatural, who had that line.
Yeah, that was on the battle against
Juice.
MC Juice. Yeah. Y'all too young for that.
DeAndre Swift has had at least 20 touches in 2 weeks in a row. Arizona has allowed the 2nd most production to running backs in fantasy football all year long. And this is an interesting little nugget. Running backs whose team is an 11-point favorite at least or more, so 11 or more point favorite, has averaged over 15 fantasy points this year. Okay? So that's a little bit of a nugget for you. I went over to Awthentic's drive-through line, and I snatched a nugget before it could get to the car.
You ordered at the 2nd speaker, and you got your order out the way, and you swerved and cut me off. That's what you did right there.
So those are my 3 guys.
I got DeAndre Swift as well. You talked about Arizona having the worst rush defense in the league, 147 yards per game. But in the last 3 games, they're allowing 174 yards per game on the ground. So they're struggling right now. Teams are definitely going to be just running the ball right at them. And, Philadelphia needs a game where they can get up early. And I think the way to do that is get back to the run. What's up with the read option, man? What's up with the read option with the Philadelphia Eagles? Can we get a little SRO too? Maybe a little screen option, a little run for my guy? We haven't seen none of that stuff. We're seeing Jalen Hurts drop back, throw the ball out of inside zone. I'm not a fan of that offense right now. They got to get it together. But I do like DeAndre Swift. And instead of Kyron Williams, I got James Cook going up against the Patriots. Quietly, James Cook is 3rd in rushing in the NFL right now with 1,038 yards. Him and Kyron Williams, both, they have the same amount of carries. That's 50 less than CMC. And he only has 6 touchdowns, but Cook has 3 total touchdowns in the last 3 games. It seems like Buffalo's kind of getting it together. And their winning streak, since being 500, I think a lot of that is dependent on James Cook. I've always talked about that when Josh Allen has another guy over there besides him and Stephon Diggs making plays, it makes things that much easier for the Buffalo Bills offense. So I like James Cook to round it out.
I loved the James Cook play for sure. Big shout out to Rohan. Checking in the chat. Says Rachaad White versus Saints or Rashee Rice versus the Bengals. Full PPR.
Give me Rachaad White. The full PPR kind of makes it interesting, but I'm still going Rachaad White. He's been playing some really good football lately.
He's been lights out. Like they're playing really. Listen, the Bucks and the Rams, they're sneakily being very competitive, gearing up for this playoff run. So definitely keep your eye on him. I think Rachaad White's been over double-digit fantasy points for like 10 weeks in a row. So as Awthentik said earlier, when you're getting down to this part of the season where everything's on the line, consistency plays a big role in
and feeling good about your decision. Like you could reach possibly and maybe be correct on a Hail Mary by bringing in a player in the lineup, but I'm much rather just die on the players that like these guys have been performing and the productivity is there.
Big shout out to E&A. We got time. Says, sorry I'm late, guys, but the best bet is back today. Y'all already know. Anytime interception. I think that's a good bet. I would place that bet for sure. Probably won't get really good odds, but
I know.
At least you can probably double your money. But big shout out to E&A. We got time. Appreciate you always stopping by. All right, up next, let's go ahead and talk about the top wide receivers. Week 17, Fantasy Football, National Football League. All right, Awthentik. Who are your top 3 guys at the wide receiver position?
I went top 2, and I'll let you explain why I'm going top 2, okay? I'm going Tyreek Hill, going up against the Ravens. NFL best, 1,641 yards receiving right now, 12 touchdowns, 106 receptions. There's a lot on the line in this game, man. He needs to put up at least about a good 160 yards in this one. He needs 324 yards to break Calvin Johnson's record, and he only has 2 games to do so. So definitely got to jump on that. Calvin Johnson's record is 1,964 yards. And I like A.J. Brown going up against the Cardinals, man. Establishing the run early, I think, will get the Philadelphia Eagles a lead, which will allow A.J. Brown to eat a little bit in the pass attack in the first half, entering the third quarter until they put this one away. A.J. Brown has not scored in 4 weeks. His longest stretch without a 100-yard game this year is 3 games. And this is now the second straight time that he's gone 3 games without a 100-yard performance. I doubt we will see him get to a 4-game or a 4th game without a 100-yard performance. So Brown gets 100 today, and he gets a touchdown today. I like him to be in the top 3 along with, that Dallas Cowboys 88 guy that played last night.
Mr. CeeDee Lamb. I spoke to Awthentik before we went live in our little pre-production meeting, and I said, I don't think anybody's topping CeeDee Lamb this week. I don't see it happening. I mean, even if you took away like the 91-yard touchdown, I mean, he's still 8, like a crazy game. So like it's going to be tough to top that performance. But I do got a couple of guys that might have a shot. Listen, I got Debo and Ayuk. I'm going both of them going to have a good game today. I don't need to tell you anything else. Once again, it's going up against the Washington Commanders defense. Now, CeeDee Lamb, week 18. That's going to be an interesting one there. He might go for 303 touchdowns. He might put up quarterback numbers at wide receiver position.
The maturing of CeeDee Lamb has been amazing to see. He was a kid wide receiver, it felt like just a year and a half ago. Yeah. And now he's on man time. He reminds me of a great fusion type of wide receiver, has the skill set of a guy like DK Metcalf, but then also has some of those burner capabilities to get behind these defenses. And I'll continue to say it, man. Nobody runs and throws that quick slant like Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb, man. They really have a connection on that and the chemistry. And I like the gutsiness from Mike McCarthy, man. Mike McCarthy's doing a good job calling these games and, being aggressive and putting them in position to win games. And imagine if CeeDee Lamb didn't fumble that ball into the end zone. You're looking at 2 touchdowns last night.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. But big shout out to CeeDee Lamb. Big shout out to all the Cowboys fans in the chat. I see Brother L. I see Kai. I see Gregory. I saw Marcus earlier. Big shout out to all the Cowboys fans in the chat. And then I'm going to round it out with, I thought about A.J. Brown, but I'm going to round it out with Nico Collins. Okay, I'm getting a little dicey here, I know. And we already talked about some of these numbers. I said Tennessee is 27th against wide receivers in fantasy this year. So that's a good sign right there. No Tank Dell, and they're playing at home, okay? 4 of the 7 home games that Nico Collins has played in this year, he has scored over 25 fantasy points from the wide receiver position. So, I mean, law averages, I feel like this is a Nico Collins game. This is a must-win situation for the Houston Texans. Let's not forget that. I mean, there are a lot of teams this week that are in must-win situations to stay alive. And a lot of those teams are playing against other teams that are in must-win situations. I think we're going to see some good quality football this week on the field. Maybe not necessarily quality, but competitive. Like just gush, like
gush.
I need some like old school NFL film sound effects week 17. That's what I feel like. Okay, so those are going to be my 3 guys at the wide receiver position. That's going to round out all of our top plays at the positions. Now we're going to go ahead and go into what we like to refer to sometimes as the rapid fire. We're going to go ahead and pick all of the remaining games that will be played. No Monday night game this week. We got a boatload of 1 o'clock games and a little Salt Bay of 4 o'clock games before we get into the night game. So let's go ahead and jump right into these matchups, ladies and gentlemen. And we always love it when you guys put your picks in the chat when we go through these games. It makes it a little bit more fun for you, me, and everybody. Let's go ahead and start with the first game on the slate. That is going to be the Tennessee Titans heading down to H-Town. The Titans are 5-10. Houston Texans are 8-7. Texans are 4-point favorites. The over-under in this game is a surprising 43.5. Kickoff is at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Awthentik, tell me what you got.
It's a tough one to pick, man. I'm going to go ahead and roll with the Houston Texans. Getting C.J. Stroud back in the lineup, I think they get the W here. I think they cover the 4 as well. I'm going to go under the 43.5, though.
I am going to... D-Hop might have a big game today. Look out for D-Hop to go over $1 today. I'm going to take the Texans. I'm going to take them to cover. I'm going to take the over 43.5. I think we just get over that 43.5. I do like D-Hop, though, today in this game. Up next, according to Awthentik's Weather Center, it looks like there might be a little bit of snow in this game. The Atlanta Falcons, led by none other than Taylor Heineke. They are 7-8.
Your boy.
They're headed to Chicago to face the Bears, who are 6-9. Justin Fields trying to convince the world that they shouldn't take a quarterback. They are 3-point favorites. The over-under in this game is 38.5. Kickoff is at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Both of these teams must win. Both of these teams are still in the hunt for a playoff position, believe it or not. I'm going to take the Chicago Bears to win this game. I'm going to take them. I hate a 3-point spread because I feel like this is going to be a 3-point game. I'm going to take Chicago to win, take Chicago to cover, and I'm going to take the under 38.5.
I like that. I'm definitely going with the Bears. I've been getting that echo a lot here. I'm just muting in and out. I'm definitely going with the Bears in this one. I think they barely cover the 3. I think they win this game by like 4 points, something like 19-15 or something like that. But give me the Bears. I think Justin Fields shows up in this game. You get a touchdown from DJ Moore and a good game on the ground from the running back committee.
I will tell you this. Up next, this game I thought should have been the Sunday Night Football game. It is the Miami Dolphins, who are 11-4. They are headed up to Baltimore, who is 12-3. The Ravens are 3.5-point favorites. The over-under is 46.5. Kickoff is at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is a tough one to pick for me. Really, really tough. I think this is going to be a fantastic football game. But listen, I think you might be looking at the AFC Championship, preview right here. I think this might be it. This game's in Baltimore. Weather's pretty nice out here finally. It's been crappy all week in the DMV, but I'm going to go Baltimore Ravens. I'm going to go Baltimore Ravens to win this game. I do think Miami covers. Baltimore by 3, and I think that we're going to get over 46.5 in this game.
This is a tough game to pick. Reminds me of the game last week with the Dolphins and the Dallas Cowboys. High-powered offenses here. 2 really good teams that should make it pretty far in the playoffs. I'm going to go with the Ravens in this one. I think the Ravens are barely going to win. I think they will cover the 3.5, though. Give them like a 4-point victory here. And I'm going to take the over 46.5.
Up next, we got the New Orleans Saints. They are 7-8. They are headed to Tampa Baker to face the Buccaneers. They are 8-7, trying to win that division. They are 2.5-point favorites. Over-under is 42.5. Kickoff is at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Awthentik, tell me what you got.
I'm going to take the Bucs in this one. I'm going to take the under 42.5. I think the Bucs do cover the 2.5. They'll probably win this game by 2 scores.
I'm going to take Tampa Bay to cover, but I'm going to take the over 42.5. Up next, a little bit of an AFC East matchup. The New England Patriots are 4-11. They are headed up to Buffalo to face the Bills, who are 9-6. The Bills are a whopping 14-point favorite. The over-under in this game is 40.5. Kickoff is at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to take Buffalo to win. It's so tough for me to take 14-point spreads. Listen, I think I can't do it. Buffalo's going to cover 14, and I'm going to take the over 40.5. It's probably going to be like 35-7.
I feel like these games, that we expect to be a certain way, always don't go that way, including the Thursday night matchup this past week. A lot of points again. And I'm going to take the Patriots to cover 14. 14 is just kind of crazy, man. It's just too much of a lead. And I think that the Patriots do play Buffalo pretty well. Their defense is decent, I'd say. Just got to find a way to get in the end zone and compete with Josh Allen in that offense. But give me the Bills to win this game, obviously. And 40.5, I'm going to go just under.
Ooh, it's going to be an interesting one. It's tough. Like, I wanted to take New England, but I was like, there's a couple of other double-digit spreads I think I'm going to take before I take that. But I'm going to take Buffalo on that they're going to cover. Up next, another double-digit spread. The Arizona Cardinals are 3-12. They're headed to Philly to face the Eagles, who are 11-4. The Eagles are 12.5-point favorites. Over under 48.5. Kickoff is at 1:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Authentic, tell me what you got.
Yeah, I'm going Eagles in this one all the way. 12.5 is tough. That's tough. I think the Cardinals can hang. They have the offensive firepower to be able to put some points up in this game. But I'm going to take the Eagles to cover the 12.5. They're just due for a bounce back type of game, man, where they can get right. 48.5 is a little bit too much for me. I'm going to take the under.
I'm going to take Philly to cover, and I'm going to take the over 48.5. I think Cardinals backdoor cover, put up some late points in the fourth quarter to get that close to the 48.5. Up next, this game's going to be a little bit more interesting than I think people had originally thought it was going to be. Carolina Panthers are 2-13. They're headed to Duval to face the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are 8-7. No Trevor Lawrence in this game. Jacksonville's only favored by 4 points. Over-under in this game is 36.5. Kickoff is at 1:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I almost wanted to be like an upset pick on this one, but I just can't pull myself to do it. I'm going to take the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think Travis Etienne probably carries the ball 30 times today. I'm going to go Jacksonville Jaguars because we know that Carolina rush defense is pretty bad. And then you have C.J. Beathard throwing the ball. I think that's how you say his last name. I'm going to take the Jaguars to win. I'm going to take them to cover the 4. I'm going to take the over 36.5.
C.J. Beathard. And you said Beathard. Some hot Beathard you got going on over there. But I'm taking the Panthers in the upset in this one. I like the way they played last week. Tough loss. It was probably Bryce Young's best game of the year, to be honest. I think they're kind of getting a little bit of continuity over there. And they just need another victory. And as a Giants fan, I'm rooting for more victories for them. I mean, even though we probably can't catch them, it's all good. But I still think the Panthers are going to, come away with an upset in this one. And I'll take the over 36.5.
Up next, the Las Vegas Raiders are 7-8. They are headed up to Indy to face the Minshew Maniacs and the Indianapolis Colts, who are 8-7. They are 4-point favorites. Over under 42.5. Kickoff is at 1:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This game is tough for me because I like both of these teams. Like, I like Gardner Minshew. I like the way that the Colts have played and battled through all these injuries when everybody thought they were going to be really bad. And I love Antonio Pierce and what he's been able to accomplish so far. I really hope the Raiders do not drop the ball for a second time on an interim head coach and make him the permanent head coach. I think he's done more than enough to earn that, at least a real life consideration, and not like, yeah, we talked to him about the position sort of situation. But all that being said, I got to go with the Colts. I'm going to go with the Colts to win this game. I think the Raiders cover, though. I think it's a 3-point victory for the Colts. I'm going to take the under 42.5.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm going Colts. Really tough game to pick. These teams are pretty evenly matched. The Raiders are definitely playing some hot football since Antonio Pierce took over as the coach. But give me the Colts. I'll take the over as well. I think the Colts cover the 4.
And one of the hottest teams in the National Football League, we've talked about them a lot today. The Los Angeles Rams are 8-7. They are headed up to New York to face the Giants, who are 5-10. The over/under in this game is 43.5. Kickoff is at 1:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Authentic, tell me what you got.
I'm gonna take the over 43.5. I definitely think the Rams are going to come away with the victory here. I think they cover the 6. Giants played tough against the Philadelphia Eagles last week with Tyrod Taylor in the second half and whatnot. I still don't think it'll be enough against this Rams offense, which is very high-powered. So give me the Rams. Give me the Rams to cover. Give me the over 43.5.
I was trying to find what the score was I picked for that game. I had Rams 30, Giants 17. Give me the Rams to cover. Give me the over. Should be a fun game to watch if you're a Los Angeles Rams fan. Up next, a game that won't be fun to watch if you're a Washington Commanders fan. The San Francisco 49ers are 11-4. They are a whopping 14-point favorite on the road against the Washington Commanders, who are 4-11. Over-under in this game is 49.5. Kickoff is at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Authentic, tell me what you got.
I mean, you was telling me that you don't think Jacoby Brissett's going to go in this one. With Sam Howell, I got to take the under. You know, with Sam Howell at quarterback, y'all just have not managed to score a lot of points in y'all last couple of games with him as the starter. I do think the San Francisco 49ers will cover the 14. This game should be an easy-peasy blowout, first half type of blowout, coast to victory in the second half.
Yep, I'm going to take the San Francisco 49ers to cover the 14 to win. I'm going to take the over 49.5. I had 38-17 San Francisco over Washington in this game. Up next, this is another really good game of two very equally coached and just sort of like player personnel sort of situation in some spots. Pittsburgh Steelers, I think I jumped the gun a little bit on that and tried to backtrack as I was going through it. Pittsburgh Steelers are 8-7. They are headed up to Seattle. The Seahawks are also 8-7. Seahawks are 4.5-point favorites. Over under 40.5. Kickoff is at 4:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Can Mason Rudolph find the way to victory without a red nose? I do not know because last week could have been a one-off sort of situation. Seattle, Kenneth Walker's kind of banged up. I'm going to take the Seahawks to win. I think Pittsburgh covers, though. 3-point victory for the Seattle Seahawks. I'm going to take the under 40.5.
Yeah, this game should be really close, man. That Pittsburgh Steelers defense definitely keeps them in games. It's really a miracle, man, that they have 8 wins. And if Mike Tomlin gets them to 9 wins again, that's going to surprise the hell out of me. A lot of people talking about he's on a hot seat. There's been mixed reports out there. He's on a hot seat. Some saying he'll be replaced. Some saying they're trying to get him back in the building.
Come to Washington, Mike.
Yeah, I would definitely take Mike Tomlin as a coach all day, especially if I was y'all. 4.5. I really think that the Pittsburgh Steelers are gonna upset the Seahawks today. It's all about DK. If you can stop DK, you can go with an upset here. I'm picking the Steelers, man. I'm picking the Steelers outright. I'm gonna take over 40.5.
Up next, another matchup, two teams in really must-win situations. The Cincinnati Bengals are 8-7. They are headed to Arrowhead to face the Kansas City Chiefs, who are 9-6. Chiefs are 6.5-point favorites. The over-under is 43.5. Kickoff is at 4:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Authentic, tell me what you got.
I'm going definitely Kansas City Chiefs. And last I had checked, the Cincinnati Bengals playoffs chances were like 2% or something like that after that loss. So yeah, I'm going Chiefs. Chiefs need a really good offensive game. They need a bounce back game here themselves. Got to get Travis Kelce involved, man. That dude let me down in fantasy. All of this Taylor Swift stuff going on. You know what I saw, and I don't know if you saw this tweet I posted, but Taylor Swift is responsible for 1.6% of all music sales, period. That is absolutely ridiculous. That's next level ridiculous stuff right there. But it's not helping the Kansas City Chiefs get Travis Kelce in the end zone. So I'd like to see him get in the end zone this week for sure, man. And I'm taking the Chiefs. I'm taking the Chiefs to cover. I'll take the over 43.5.
I like the Chiefs to win this game. I'm going to take Cincinnati to cover, and I'm going to take the over 43.5. Kansas City wins by 6. Up next, one of my sleepers, the Los Angeles, formerly San Diego Chargers are 5-10. Easton Stick versus Jarrett Stidham.
Ugh.
The Denver Broncos are 7-8. The Broncos are 3.5-point favorites. The over-under in this game is a whopping 36.5. Kickoff is at 4:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I don't even know where to begin with this game.
I'm going tie. Have we had any ties yet this year?
I don't think we've had a tie this year. Are we going to
I'm
go
going
tie?
tie here.
Tie.
I'm going 9-9. Tie. This is terrible. And I hate the way the Broncos did this whole situation,
so
man.
stupid.
It's just trash.
Trash. Lost a lot of respect for Sean Payton, that's for sure.
Yeah, and we should have known at the beginning of the year when he said them comments about Nathaniel Hackett and Rob Saleh. That was trash right there already.
Yeah.
Like, that's not professional type of behavior.
No, this is amateur hour. Starring Easton Stick and Jarrett Stidham.
Easton Stick is a quarterback's name in a Disney football movie.
But yeah, for sure. Maybe not even Disney. You know, I might give him that's like a Varsity Blues name, right?
Nah, don't even throw no shade at Johnny Moxon with that nonsense.
You trying to tell me Easton Stick can't be Johnny Moxon's backup? That sounds like
Easton
a good.
Stick is in a Disney movie that didn't make it to theaters. It was a straight to DVD release.
Straight to VHS.
Yeah, it's not. Let's not go there, dog.
I will be listing Jared Stidham cards on today, just in case he goes for 3 touchdowns, as I predict.
That's what you predicted, 3 touchdowns for him. You said that last week, right?
No, for Jared, not for Jared Stidham.
Yo, you said it for Easton Stick. Yeah, you've been a week off every time with these predictions.
So maybe Easton Stick throws 3 touchdowns this week.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll see.
I doubt it.
Up there. Last game, week 17 is going to be the Green Bay Packers headed to Minnesota to face the Vikings. Both teams are 7-8. Both teams need a win to stay alive. Minnesota Vikings are 1-point favorites. Over-under is 43.5. Kickoff is at 8:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Authentic, tell me what you got.
I'm going Packers. Quarterback play has been better for the Packers. And, I just think they're the better team right now. They got Aaron Jones back healthy. You just got to hope the young kid, my doppelganger, don't turn the ball over too much and he can, put the ball in the end zone a few times. Romeo Doubs, man, playing some really good football as of late, too. So I'm taking the Packers in this one. 43.5. Yeah, I'll take the over.
Minnesota has benched another quarterback. They are now going with the rookie. I forget his name. Jared Allen, maybe? Jarrett Allen?
Jared Allen, I think that is his name.
Yeah. So I'm going to take the Green Bay Packers. Give me the Packers to win. I'll take the over 43.5. The Packers defense has been playing really bad, so this game might actually be a fun, entertaining shootout game tonight. But that's going to wrap it up, ladies and gentlemen, for all of our picks week 17 in the National Football League. Whew. We got a quick Jaron Hall. Thank you, Jax. Jaron Hall was the name. And we got a question from JJ Stangl. How you been, JJ? Says, Zay Flowers, George Pickens, or Olave in my flex?
I like Flowers or Pickens. Derek Carr has had trouble getting the ball to Olave, I feel like, this whole entire year. I like Flowers. And man, Rashad Bateman, he should have been in my sleeper section this week. That dude, as of late, did you see the Sluggo comeback? I've never seen anybody run this route my entire life. He ran a Sluggo last week like 20 yards down the field, and then he ran the comeback off the Sluggo. Yo, the way that I'm going to post this clip on my Twitter when we get off. The way that Lamar Jackson anticipated this throw, I mean, he's not even thinking about coming out the break yet, and the ball is already in the air right on him. But Bateman has been running some really good routes, man.
I kind of like Olave. I feel the pain about him being kind of, left out basically with the way that offense has been producing. But that Tampa Bay pass defense is really bad. That's the only thing that is it's kind of like.
Olave's coming off a big game last week, 223 yards.
Yeah, I think I'm going to lean towards Olave. I think either one of these guys, they're all pretty much in the same category.
You remember Pickens? You remember Pickens last week? I'm just saying.
Yeah, exactly. Pickens went crazy last week. Zay Flowers is the master of consistency. He also got in the end zone last week. I'm going to take a gamble. I'm going to go Olave. That's where I'm going to go. Shout out to Sebastian.
Aiden O'Connell. Yeah, you were weak early on that one, too. Maybe that's what we should just do every week. He's going to get 3 touchdowns, and we could clip him up, put him on Twitter, look like we're G's.
Purdy. I love Mahomes, obviously, but you have to play Brock Purdy against Washington's defense. There's no starting cornerbacks out there for Washington. St. Juice and Kendall Fuller are both out in that game. It's going to be a bloodbath. They might put up 35 points in the first quarter.
Jesus. I'll give him 14.
But listen, this has been an absolutely amazing ride. Big shout out to everybody in all of the chats, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube. We've gotten questions all year long from all of those platforms, from so many different people, from people who come in every week to people who pop in once in a while to people who ask us one question and never come back. We appreciate each and every one of those people. It's just been a blast. Shout out to everybody who is in the championship. We are wishing you the best. And remember, if you guys do win championships, please, come show us some love. We want to enjoy this championship with you. We want to feel like we won a championship too. Trainers and people, they get rings. We might not get a paycheck, but we want to help celebrate with you. So, tag us, show us those final scores. It's going to be a lot of fun. We got a long day of football ahead with a lot of 1 o'clock games. It's going to be brutal for my Commanders, but I'm here. You see me. I'm ready. Let's go. Play to win a game.
Yeah, I'm ready for this game too, man. And yeah, Happy New Year. Definitely the last day of 2023 here. I'm looking forward to the off season one time. Y'all know what it is. A lot of draft content going to be popping over here. Definitely appreciate everybody pulling up. I'll be on Bleacher Report today after the New York Giants game too if you want to pull up. That's going to be a chill stream, I'm sure, because we are definitely in struggle mode one time. But again, big shout out to the gang, man. Y'all know how we end every podcast over here at Awthentik and The Beard. Keep raising that bar, y'all. Keep living that dream because the universe flows in Technicolor and surround sound. Rest in peace to the podcast GOAT, Mr. Combat Jack himself. And that's a wrap, y'all. Y'all be good. Enjoy y'all Sunday football. Best of luck in y'all fantasy championships. And don't forget to come back and report to us that you got that W. The Beard had to sign off real quickly. Y'all know what it is. Y'all be good. We catch y'all on the next stream, y'all. Peace.
Spike don't care.